most businesses and business owners cannot really empathize with where we fall on this spectrum, because I think we're over towards the side of being taken advantage of. We've done things in the past that are you just wouldn't do. It's like, hey, I realize that I just got X number of months of services that actually cost us real hard dollars, but you know what, I'm having a really tough time, or my business is struggling, I just need this, whatever it is. And we'd be like, okay, we understand, let's figure out something that is fair.
I have come across what feels like one after another of experiences that fall flat. Feedback is either asked or just given. And after the feedback is given, crickets. And so I'll give you a couple examples. I recently stayed at a hotel.
Did you say that? Well, here we are again. Another episode of the Who Cares podcast.
I'm Jay O'Brien.
I am Jeff Jackel. We're supposed to say Who Cares Podcast, the podcast for business leaders, entrepreneurs, difference makers, bungee jumpers, accordion
I'm Jay
players
O'Brien.
Who do care.
You know, we talked a little bit about going analog a few weeks back, a few months back maybe. And there have been multiple people sharing this thing with me about this startup out of Seattle.
It was me. And someone else did?
Yep.
Oh, all right.
This landline telephone for kids, so that they're not glued to smartphones and they don't have to worry about like what they missed out on and feeling left out, and just taking it back to the analog good old days. Now, is that just a regular landline phone? What makes it kid-like?
Oh, here it is. Okay, here we go. Seattle startup bringing back the landline for kids. It's called Seattle's Child is probably the magazine. Tin Can. .kids, maybe.
Oh, that's a great name for that startup.
Seattle startup Tin Can is bringing that back for kids. So I'm not sure how. It's got to be a VoIP, right? I'm sure it's internet based. It's going to just plug into a computer or plug into or it could be Wi-Fi.
Well, so a few years back, me and my good buddy Randall were talking about getting landlines fully activated, ready to go again, and he actually moved forward with it.
Randall has a landline?
Had.
Oh.
So he moved forward, activated the landline. He said within, I don't know, minutes of plugging it in, just fucking spam calls like crazy.
That's so good.
So how do you avoid that? Is there any way of truly being unlisted or really having a block? Because that ruins everything.
Yeah, there have to be. And there's also filters that you can put on that are really, really high. But like we just got some new phone lines here. And the first call that they made was marked
to Randall?
No, not to Randall, but to anybody. For business purposes, when you're actually doing sales with these things, there are services like Hiya, Hiya, a couple others that actually can what they don't unlist you as spam. Like they don't go in with the carriers and help you, get okayed with whatever carrier. But what they do is they tie a business name to the outbound phone number, so that you know how you see something that comes through and it might.
Okay, so when I was a kid, I didn't have caller ID. Did you have caller ID? You guys were kind of rolling in the dough.
No, not early. Truthfully, I remember when we got. It's going to age me, and you're going to make all sorts of fun. I remember when our phones switched to wireless. I remember when our phones had a cord on them.
Sure, yeah.
And then I remember when they switched to wireless, there was no screen. They were just numbers.
There's no screen. So you pick it up.
So not only is there
you don't know who's there. I'm gonna ask who's calling.
Of course not.
No caller ID. So with this new startup, is there a screen? Is it no caller ID? Do you know that little Timmy's calling to play soccer outside? Or
it doesn't look like there's any screen. They're $75. We're gonna of course get one. We'll bring it on here. That's what we should use for people to call in. We're taking calls from
kids.
Well, that doesn't have to.
Do we have to be a kid to use it? What makes it?
Okay, so it's a Wi-Fi landline. It does not have apps, texting, or games. Just real conversations with friends, neighbors, grandma, or whoever you add to your list.
I think that's fantastic.
It is fantastic. They're currently in pre-order, so nobody really knows what this is going to be. Party line plan. So the phone itself is $75. You pay $9.99.
Party line.
I believe that there is a monthly service where this is brilliant. So you pay $75 for that phone, and then it's $9.99 a month to have a phone number.
Of course, there's a monthly service.
Yeah, well, it's Wi-Fi. It's literally a Wi-Fi phone.
So I'm gonna get one of those, or maybe just go back to regular
one.
landline and
Okay, I think you should
find a
get
way
this.
to block all the numbers from coming in.
So my point is, I guess there has to be a phone number, but I don't think that something like this would get spam calls because it's proprietary line. Like you basically it can only receive numbers from or calls from numbers that are pre-approved.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it says
that's nice.
yeah. So it says whoever you add to your available or recipient list can call you.
This is great.
Mm-hmm.
I fully support this. Do you think we're gonna
Only
be
callers you approve can communicate with your tin can.
Yeah, you just said that.
I know. I'm just reading their website. I'm getting one. I just got one.
Do you think there's other products in the pipe? Any sort of thing that's going back to the analog day and age? I told you people are gonna be chasing this. People are gonna be chasing analog over digital.
But you mean like a retro, a modern version of something that's retro, kind of like the record players that we have in the office and we do as gifts.
I mean, like, do people knock on doors again and like ask if you want to come out and play it? Does that ever come back again?
No. I mean, people have become lazier than to be willing to expend the energy to walk a few blocks to find out. So like my kids ask us to text the friends' parents down the street, see if they're available, and then if they are, then we will play.
What happens if they're not looking at their phone?
The parents?
Yeah. And you're like, oh, dude, I just got your text from 2 hours ago. Of course they could have played.
Yeah, I mean, just the reality is that people look at their phones more often than that. If they are home and not out doing something with little kids, they're probably looking at their phone, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And also, you got two chances. Like when I'm at home, let's say it's a weekend, or I'm not really looking at my phone much, or at least a lot less than Ash. But they would try, like the dad might try me, and if he doesn't get me, he'll text Ash, or he'll tell his wife to text Ash, and she'll, for sure, one of us will look at it.
Yeah. I guess just romanticize about it. A time once had.
But I think you'd have to actually, the tin can thing sounds really cool, and it is really cool, but you'd have to teach kids to actually change the way that they do things in order to make them work. So like back in the day, there was not another option. There wasn't texting. There wasn't, so you would go to someone's house and you'd knock on the door and see if they could come out and play. Or once everyone got their phones, then you'd call them and you'd ask, oh, hi, Mrs. Cleaver. Can, Wally come out and play? No one will get that reference under the age of
55.
50? So like right now, you'd have to reteach my kids, okay, hey, when you want to, well, I guess it's the same when their phones come in, like whatever age they get phones. But instead of asking me to ask, Ryland's dad if she can do whatever, you go to this phone and you call her yourself. It's
Okay, so you're going to try and implement it.
I don't know, because we also said that the kids can't have a phone or a whatever.
Well, can I have the one you just bought?
Yeah. What would you do with it?
I mean, I would love to get a landline just for the novelty of it, and it's especially novel because I don't like talking on the phone.
It's actually wild for you. But you know what? I think you can make your cell phone the same way that I just explained tin can works. I think you can say you get a cell phone that can only receive calls from numbers that you've already
Maybe I'll live in a hotel and I'll just check my messages down at the front desk every evening. Speaking of hotels.
You're so good at it.
So we've talked a lot about righting wrongs in the customer service world. Something goes haywire. What do you do to correct the problem? It opens up a huge opportunity to maybe do something even better than the original experience, to leave a lasting impression, so on and so forth. Now, recently, I have come across what feels like one after another of experiences that fall flat. Feedback is either asked or just given. And once that
Would you call it feedback or advice?
I would call it feedback.
Okay.
Because I'm not actually advising them on what to do.
Okay.
And after the feedback is given, crickets. And so I'll give you a couple examples. I recently stayed at a hotel.
I wonder how many people listen to this or watch this and think that it's just us bitching about bad customer experience, because a lot of it is. Like, once you know what to do right, it's very easy to spot things that are wrong.
Sure. Yeah. There's no shortage of bad experiences if you ask anyone anything, right?
Sure.
If you ask anyone, what are your thoughts on this airline? You could name any airline and they're going to say, that's the worst airline ever. You know, everyone's had a bad experience with every single airline. There's no shortage of those, which is interesting because when you ask somebody, name the best experience you've had in the last year, they're like,
it's hard to.
I don't have one.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
okay, so this
particular hotel has the two-way text experience. When you check in, they tell you, you know, if you need anything, text us, call us, whatever. So I always use that service. One, I want to see how dialed it is. You know, are they actually responding to the live human? How quick did they respond? What are they capable of doing?
You're doing that because you kind of you're gauging their like the quality of their customer experience.
Yeah,
like
I want to know. You know, I want to know how much I can ramp up the guest experience. For one,
okay,
but two is it's like a lesson learned for us. You know, for any business, you could see, hey, this is pretty impressive what this company does or whatever.
Yep.
And so I'll give you an example. So one day after the beach, we rolled up to the pool. There's this pool bar. We show up at like, I don't know, must have been close to 5 p.m. Pool bar's closed. I'm like, most bars I know open at 5.
Sure.
So we're at the pool. I text this number. Hey, looks like the pool bar is closed. Is there any way to get a cocktail out of the pool? Just to see what they say.
Sure.
And so they say, absolutely. Call the front desk, ask for in-room dining, and they'll deliver it to you or whatever. And so you're like, oh, that's pretty good. And I'm like, you do it.
Did you say that?
No, but that's what's going on in my head. Because
I'm surprised you didn't say
other
that.
places I've stayed would have just said,
yeah,
absolutely, what can we get you? And they'll just bring it. They'll go through all the channels that they need to get to make it happen, right? They won't say, hey, why don't you call this number, then press 2, wait on hold for a second, then place an order, then tell them where you are. Like, just tell me what you want and I'll get it for you.
Yep.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that was interesting. Anyway, the back and forth goes on for a few days. Yesterday we check out. Get the standard text, hey, hope you enjoyed your stay. If there's any feedback you have, anything that could have been made better, let us know. I said, hey, the experience was a 10 out of 10. It was very, very good. We had a wonderful time. I have 2 bits of constructive feedback for you. Listed off both of them. Crickets. Not
Nothing.
even
Didn't
an
respond.
acknowledgement. So that's incident number 1. Number 2, this technology company, pretty local, whatever, they sell data. We tried to do business with them, riddled with bugs.
Yeah.
Spoke directly with the founder and owner of the company multiple times. Again, I like to think that I'm a dream customer for these people because
In what way?
I will test your stuff. I will go through the bugs. I'm basically free QA. Okay.
Yeah.
Like imagine if someone did that with
of
ClientGiant. If someone said, by the way, I went to the back end, this button doesn't work. By the way, we'd be like, keep it coming.
And you're not even complaining. You're actually helping them because you're like,
Yeah,
we
I don't
appreciate
care.
when people do this too.
I'm like, dude, I'll do this for free for you because I'm making your system better, which is making our experience better. I get it. You're new and growing. That's awesome. Like let's grow together, you know?
Yeah.
And long story short, the stuff didn't work out and we parted ways. But left on good terms and everything like that. But we left the door open and these auto charges kept coming in.
They're charging us for something we're not using.
Got another one of those charges that came in. Like maybe that should be reversed, because the system didn't work the way it was supposed to work.
And also we've stopped using it.
We stopped using it entirely, right? So it's like no response. Follow up. Hey, just want to, again, I don't want to be like super annoying, but like also want to pay for something that I didn't get. So
Sure.
can you respond, please, to my email? So they're like, well, like, what do you have in mind or whatever? I'm like, okay, well, here's what I have in mind. Like, let's pay a pro rata amount, whatever you think is fair. Here's what I think is fair.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Just non-response.
That was like over a month ago at this point. Yeah. Like well over a month ago.
Well, there's going to be another charge.
No, it's turned off now, but the person had no interest in rectifying this. They had no interest in like understanding. Actually, they fully understood what went wrong. All the problems were on their side.
And acknowledged, yeah.
But it was more, I don't know, convenient to just say, we're just going to ignore me and just take the money and run, like it's just, I find it very interesting. And then of course today, another similar sort of situation where just not prioritizing fixing a clear wrong problem. And it makes me think, do we just, at least for me, I think about this a lot. Do I just overextend myself so much to make sure that people are like heard, well taken care of, the loop is closed, we're all in alignment, because I don't really receive it that way.
Yeah, I'm sure that question was, maybe it wasn't rhetorical, but yes, you do, but we do as a company. Like, I would say that that's one of the harder things is to like, so you told me the story of the software company that we paid multiple times, and we're receiving service, and I was like, so what do you do? Like, they just don't respond? Are you going to contest the charge, or like what do? Like, you try again for a third time to say, hey, let's try to figure out like some sort of a thing that's amicable, because otherwise we just paid for something we didn't get. And you're sort of like, well, I don't know, which I totally understand, and there's personal relationships involved, but like, not only do we do those things that are above and beyond, and we always close the loop, etc., you especially, but I don't think enough people, but maybe they do, I don't think enough people like shine a light in people's face when they're not doing it to get them to stop doing it. So it's kind of like, part of me wants to be like, okay, I get it. Maybe we shouldn't contest that charge, or maybe we shouldn't raise a stink, or maybe we shouldn't talk to the person who referred us, who's a mutual friend or whatever, because like, you don't want to be that thorn in someone's side. But at the same time,
someone's got to be the thorn, otherwise it goes on forever.
Exactly. And also, as long as that business or person keeps running into people who don't know any different, or who are just going to like let it be, maybe they never learn from it, but they're going to run into somebody at whatever point that really teaches them a lesson that's way harsher than whatever we would teach them a lesson.
Yeah, I guess for clientgiant, I'm always thinking about, what do people say about our company behind closed doors? Not just the ones that had a great experience because they bought services and things went great for their business, whatever, but the people who don't work with us anymore, or never did, or whatever, it's like, what are they saying? And I don't ever want to give someone a reason to have a valid point to talk badly about our company. So even when it comes to contested charges, like someone disputes something, people do this from time to time, right? On a credit card, like, oh yeah, I know it's my fault. I just didn't want it anymore, so I'm going to contest the charge. Okay.
You're like, and just to be clear, like, people need to be upfront with all this stuff, and they have multiple like notifications that this is what's happening and here's what's set to happen. And
or in our situation, we have tracking showing services have been performed,
right? And
even sometimes that gets contested because they're like, I forgot that was still running, or whatever.
Yeah.
So for us, when a dispute happens with a credit card company, basically both parties have to present evidence, and then a decision is made, and you either win or you lose. And internally, I think we're really good about this, because our position is like, we don't care. We're not so focused on who wins or loses. Like, we're both losing if we're in a fight.
Sure.
Just get on the phone with that person and understand, why is this being contested?
Yep.
Is it because you forgot? Because we're definitely not a gotcha company. Oh, it renewed yesterday. You got 14 hours to fix that. Like,
never.
Better luck next year. That's not our style. But also, we don't want to be taken advantage of and say, hey, we performed this service for 6 months, and we've given you a zillion notifications, and now you want money. I mean, we don't want that either. So get on the same page, get connected, and understand how to resolve the conflict. That's number one priority, because I believe in most situations, both parties will walk away saying, okay, that resolution was right and fair, or whatever.
What's that saying? Calmer minds prevail? Is that, or cooler minds prevail? What I'm getting at is, like, I think that most businesses and business owners cannot really empathize with where we fall on this spectrum, because I think we're over towards the side of being taken advantage of. You know, more often than not, I think like we've done things in the past that are you just wouldn't do. It's like, hey, I realize that I just got X number of months of services that actually cost us real hard dollars, but you know what, I'm having a really tough time, or my business is struggling or whatever, and I just need this or whatever it is, and we'd be like, okay, we understand. Let's figure out something that is fair. Where you say it all the time, like a huge company or a software company of another like type, they wouldn't even respond to that. Like you can't even get a person on the phone. You can't,
Yeah.
it's
and we've had to, I mean, obviously we've learned a lot throughout the years, but I mean, when someone hits you up on live chat, like cancel all my services, you're like, and then just signs off, and you're like, that's not how you cancel services, right?
Things like this don't happen very often I mean, I guess if you were a company where people are doing that all the time and it's like really, I don't know, killing your business or something, maybe you would start getting super defensive and treat it in the wrong way, and it would be really tough for you to see it the way that we see it. I guess I could get myself in that mind frame.
So what I always say, especially, our team is so good at this, but when a customer in anything, any business is upset and starts asking for refunds or talking about disputing charges, it's because they are in survival mode. They are like, I'm being taken advantage of. Someone has something of mine that I want back. I feel like I'm backed up against a wall. I'm going to fight, right? So we always say, just diffuse that immediately by saying, hey, whatever it is you want, like you don't have to worry about the outcome of this. Let's just start there, okay? And let's just talk to each other. You don't have to worry, because the second you start having well, why do you want a refund? And why this? The person just gets more and more and more in survival mode, and you're never going to go anywhere. So you actually have to have the conversation of, don't worry about the outcome. We will make it right no matter what. And sure, sometimes it's going to bite you in the ass, but I think just like we've talked about on this podcast before with endorsements, return policies, and all this stuff, if you lead with that sentiment, it will be a net positive way more than a net negative. Yeah.
Yeah. The wildest thing about what you said with the hotel, I mean, the software company, I guess, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just like a small thing to them, and so they're not even doing it. You'd think a personal relationship, they still would respond, like have some sort of response. But for a hotel, it's the idea of asking for customer feedback and then getting feedback, which I'm sure is pretty rare on that automated text thing, and then not responding to it at all, is worse than not asking for it in the first place. Worse than not having.
Way worse.
It makes it way worse. There was a I never understood this. It was like a very early tech company that I had that was mobile app based, and I forget what the exact thing was, but essentially it was the idea that, like, I'll make it easy. Let's say that you ran Instagram or Twitter, and you were not going to allow curse words because of the age range that you had put the app in the App Store. So the question was essentially like, do you put software in there to find and limit people from being able to basically censoring things that are bad words? And the way that legal came back to us was essentially, if you make an attempt to do it, and then it gets through, it's way worse than not making any attempt at all, because once you've opened the seal of, like, you know what I mean, which I thought was the most ridiculous thing in the entire world.
It's like that with everything, because and then it opens up the liability. It's like a financial advisor saying, like, oh, they can't say this because once they do, then the advice is whatever. It's like, but meanwhile, your buddy could tell you anything.
Yeah,
it's
anything
like totally
they want,
legit.
right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the same principle where, like, you know, if a hotel has decided that we actually do care, the only reason you'd put something in place where there's an automated text asking you how your stay was and please provide any feedback, or did it ask for feedback, or did it say please? Okay, here's how your stay was, which I'm sure there's 5 different options when you sign up for that software for a hotel. Do you want to just say, hope your stay was great? Would you like to solicit feedback? Because there's going to be some sort of structure of something you got to put in place to try to respond to that feedback. It's the idea of voluntarily asking for it and then ghosting is just so much worse than not even having a text in the first place.
So I would expect that I would have received a response by now. So because I haven't, I probably never will. But I found that interesting. And one of my bits of feedback was this experience that was kind of like upsold or whatever, that I bought, it's a pretty negligible cost, so it's not like it would.
Is it the fire pit?
Yeah, it's not like they would lose money by reversing that charge, right?
Did you ask them to?
I didn't ask them to. That's part of this test. Is like, I said, knowing what I know now, I would not have booked it. And if someone told me that about our company,
Anything.
about it, that to me tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
That this is not a gotcha moment. It's like, okay, you felt like you were sold something else.
Yeah.
We need to make that right.
It's one of two things. You're either saying it was not worth the price I paid, or
you were misled.
Or I was misled to believe that it. Yeah, I guess it's both. I was misled to believe that it would have been worth it.
And we've had those conversations with like different vendors and people we've hired over the years and whatever, where we've said, hey, knowing what I know now, this exchange is not one that I would have made this deal 1 year ago.
Yeah, you say that a lot. You say like, would I check this box again? No.
This is just black or white. So when people say, oh, it's going to get better, or this is like, look, here's what's been spent. Here's what we've received. And that's all I see.
Yeah.
It's been whatever.
It's like the softest way in the world to say, I regret doing this with you.
Yeah, totally. And if somebody told me that, I would take that very seriously.
Yeah.
You know, that is actually really, really good feedback.
Yeah.
So anyway, last month with a few independent contractors that we hired that we paid twice.
Oh, yeah.
One of them gone.
Just
Ghosted, not cooperative at all. Literally paid twice and was like, peace out. Like, I'm like, man, says a lot.
Karma.
And by the way, the reason they were paid twice was because there was a glitch in a third-party system that wasn't pushing payment through. Not our fault, 100% their fault. And after a few days of trying to resolve it, their customer support was so bad that we, as a company, took it upon ourselves to say, let's get you paid faster. Like, you shouldn't have to bear the burden of this delay.
Yeah.
Obviously, we shouldn't have to either.
Sure.
But we took care of it. And then, boom, that other payment went through, and there was no way to pull back.
Do you go to the third party?
Yeah. There's like, well, it was basically in limbo, and it was pre-authorized days prior. So the release of it, was released.
So that's what I'm talking about, where like when I said we err on the side most people I don't think can even empathize with, or maybe they can, but they don't live that way, of being taken advantage of. So like,
yeah,
think about how many companies would be like, well, just wait, it's going to take a day or two. Obviously, they're having a little issue with their thing.
Right.
Instead of
which we tried that, but then it took even longer. But even in this, you're probably like fuming because even these examples in this podcast has cost like $10,000, just because of like trying to do right by people.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're absolutely right. You're more of a target to be taken advantage of. So
But
moral of the story is we won't pay anyone ever again.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be net 365.
Net never, as I used to say.
Net never.
Apparel industry.
All right, cool. Well, this has been great. What can I say?
Sure. I mean, we're going to just keep talking shit on hotels and airlines and software services, and we won't ever, say who they are so that nobody can get mad at us, and that'll be fine.
Sure.
And maybe next week we're going to go over some questions from people that they're asking us. Everyone's asking about your skincare routine, and we're going to tell them what's up. As always, like, subscribe, do whatever you're supposed to do. You know the drill.